Which of the following is a vector quantity? The first question we have for today says, which of the following is a vector quantity? We have option A to be distance, option B we have speed, C we have velocity, and D we have temperature. Option A we have speed, option B we have speed, option C we have velocity, and option D we have temperature. Now, don't forget, when they say vector quantity, it has both magnitude and what? Direction. The correct answer is option C, velocity, because velocity has both magnitude and direction, unlike distance, speed, and temperature. Distance has only magnitude, but it doesn't have direction. Distance has magnitude, only magnitude. Distance has only magnitude. Speed has only magnitude also. And temperature also has only magnitude, thereby making these three quantities a scalar quantity. Scalar quantities. So the correct option there is velocity, because it has both magnitude and direction. It has both value and direction. Now let's move over to question 2. Question 2 says, a body moves 5 meters east and then 12 meters north. What is its displacement? A body moves 5 meters east and 12 meters north. What is its displacement? Option A we have 17 meters, option B we have 13 meters, option C we have 12.5 meters, and option D we have 7 meters. Now let's solve together. Note that displacement is a straight line distance. Displacement is distance in a straight line. Displacement is given by this formula. Displacement is equal to A plus B, where A and B are the two distances. From the question, they gave us A to be what? 5 meters. And they gave us B to be what? 12 meters. If you substitute this into this equation, if you put this into this equation, we're going to have displacement is equal to square root of vector A is what? Sorry, this is squared. Both of them are squared. Vector A is what? 5. 5 squared plus vector B is what? 12 squared. This is the first distance and this is the second distance. Both of them are squared. 5 squared will give you 25. 5 times 5, 25. This is 24. This plus this will give us what? This times this will give us 144. 25 plus 144 will give us 169. If you take the square root of 169, it's going to give us it's going to give us 13. So we have our final answer to be what? 13 meters. Don't forget, displacement is measured in meters. Therefore, the displacement for this question, a body moves 5 meters east and then 12 meters north. The displacement is what? 13 meters, which is option B. So the correct option, the correct answer is option B. Don't forget, displacement simply means distance in a straight line distance. For question 3 says, which of the following pairs are both vector quantities? Which of the following pairs are both vector quantities? We have A, force and energy. B, we have velocity and displacement. C, we have speed and distance. D, we have mass and pressure. Let's check it out. Force and energy. The first option says force and energy. Force here has both magnitude and direction. Force is a vector quantity. Now when you come to energy, energy has only magnitude. Energy does not have direction. So energy here is a scalar quantity. The second option is velocity and displacement. Now, both velocity and displacement are vector quantities, reason being that they have magnitude and direction. So velocity here is a vector quantity, displacement is also a vector quantity. The third option says speed and distance. Now, both speed and distance are scalar quantities. Speed here has magnitude but no direction. Distance also has what? Magnitude but no direction. We have option D, which is mass and pressure. Mass and pressure. Both mass and pressure are scalar quantities. They have only magnitude without direction. So this is, and this is scalar quantity. Now the question says, which of the pairs are both vector quantities? The correct option is option B. Velocity and displacement are both vector quantities. So this is the correct option. Question 4 says, what is the scalar component of a 10 Newton force acting at 60 degrees to the horizontal? What is the scalar component of a 10 Newton force acting at 60 degrees to the horizontal? Now this question, it's what is the scalar component of a vector, a force acting at 60 degrees. So this force here is acting at 60 degrees. Sorry, that question is meant to be what is the vector component, not scalar component. The question is meant to be what is the vector component and not the scalar component. So the question says, this is to the horizontal, we say it's fx, and this is to the vertical, we say it's fy. Now this vector of 10 newtons, don't forget what we said earlier here for the resolution of vectors, that you resolve first to the vertical component and also to the horizontal component. From the question, for the horizontal, we have f of x is equal to f cos theta. Don't forget the f is the force of the vector, which is 10 newtons. Cos theta here, theta is this angle. The angle the vector makes, which is 60 degrees. This is 10 times cos 60 is 0.5. This will give us what? 10 times 0.5 will give us 5 newtons. But for the vertical, we have Fy f of y to be f sine theta, which is 10 sine theta is what? 60. Sine 60 is 0.866, right? 0.866 times 10. 10 times 0.866 will give us 8.66 Newton. So this is the correct answer. Question 5. Two forces, 6 newtons and 7 newtons, act at a point at right angles. What is this resultant force? Two forces, 6 newtons and 8 newtons, act at a point at right angle. What is the resultant force? What is the resultant force? Solution. Recall this equation for resultant vector. Recall the equation for the resultant vector. We have r is equal to what? Square root of a square plus b square plus 2ab cos theta. Now the question, we are given from the question that the magnitude of the first vector is 6 newtons. That of the second is what? B is equal to 8 newtons. And they say they act at right angles. So theta here is 90 degrees. When we substitute this into this equation, we have r is equal to square root of our a squared is what? 6 squared plus 8 squared plus 2 into a is what? 6 and b is 8 cos 90 degrees. Cos 90 degrees, this is r is equal to 6 squared is what? 36. 6 times 6. And 8 squared is 8 multiplying itself twice, so you have 64. This is 2 into 6. Cos 90 is 0, so when this multiplies 0, you have 0 here. So it goes out, plus 0, so it goes out automatically. This is 36 plus 64. 36 plus 64 will give you 100. Square root of 100 will give us what? 10. Therefore, the resultant vector in that question, or the resultant force, is 10 newtons. That is option A. So option A is the correct answer with 10 newtons. Question 6. Question 6 is, which of the following is not a scalar quantity? Which of the following is not a scalar quantity? Option A, we have distance, B, we have acceleration, C, we have time, and D, we have mass. Now note that acceleration has no direction, so it is a vector. We have this in our options. We have A, distance, B, acceleration, C, time, and D, mass. Now distance you see here, it's a what? Is a scalar quantity. This is a scalar. It has only magnitude but no direction. Acceleration here is a vector quantity because it has both magnitude and direction. Time here is a scalar quantity. Mass is also a scalar quantity. So the correct answer is option B, acceleration, because acceleration has magnitude and direction. Therefore, it is a vector quantity. Question 7 says, a vector of magnitude 20 newtons makes an angle of 30 degrees with the horizontal. What is the horizontal component? A vector of magnitude 20 newtons makes an angle of 30 degrees with the horizontal. What is the horizontal component? They gave us option A. Option A is what? 10 newtons. Option B, they gave us 17.3 newtons. Option C, they gave us 20 newtons. And option D, we have 12.5 newtons. Now let's solve this question together. They say a vector of magnitude 20 degrees. Let's assume this is the vector and this is the magnitude of the vector. They say it makes an angle of 30 degrees with the horizontal. This is the horizontal, right? They say it makes an angle of 30 degrees. They say what is the horizontal component? From our resolution of vectors, we have that the vertical component is given at Vx is equal to V cos theta. From the question, we have theta, where V is the vector. Now, in this question, we can rewrite this as Fx is equal to F cos theta, where F here is the magnitude of the vector, and theta is the angle the vector makes to either the vertical or horizontal component. Now, Fx is equal to, the force we have here is what? 20 newtons. Into, we have cos theta. Cos theta we have here is what? 30 degrees. 20 times cos 30 will give us 0.866. 20 times 0.866, if you pause your calculator, you have 17.3 newtons. Therefore, the question says, what is the horizontal component? Therefore, the horizontal component this vector makes is what? 17.3 newtons, making option B to be the correct answer with 17.3 newtons. Now we'll move on to the next question, question 8. Question 8 says, the resultant of two equal forces acting at an angle of 90 degrees is 10 newtons. What is the magnitude of each force? The resultant of two equal forces acting at an angle of 90 degrees is 10 newtons. What is the magnitude of each force? Option A, we have 5 newtons. Option B, we have 5 root 2 newtons. Option C, we have 7.07 newtons. And option D, we have 10 newtons. So let's solve and check what is the correct answer. So solution, from the question we were given that the two equal forces acting at an angle of 90. So they gave us theta to be what? 90 degrees. They gave us the angle to be 90 degrees. And they said the resultant force is what? 10 newtons. So we have R to be equal to 10 newtons. They say what is the magnitude of each? At this point, we say let each force be F. Let each force be F. We have the resultant to be equal F squared plus F squared. If you add these two together, you have 2F squared. We have our arrow to be equal. This square now will take away this. We are left with F root 2. Don't forget, from the question they give us R to be what? 10. So we have 10 is equal to F root 2. We are looking for the force. So we make first subset of formula, we divide by root 2. We have f is equal to 10 divided by root 2. This is something as 10 divided by root 2 will give you 1.414. 10 divided by 1.414 will give us 7.07 newtons. Therefore, the correct answer to this question is 7.07 newtons. This is the correct answer. Question 9 says, which of the following operations is valid for vectors only? Which of the following operations is valid for vectors only? Option A, multiplication of scalars. Option B, division. Option C, dot product. And option D, addition with magnitudes only. But recall, when we gave you characteristics of the vector quantities, we said something. We said vector quantities follow vector algebra and not arithmetic. They follow vector algebra and not arithmetic. The correct answer is the dot product, because it is only meaningful with vectors. Dot product is not meaningful with scalar quantities. So dot product is only meaningful with vectors. Dot product is also known as scalar product. Either you call it, in some exam questions, they might twist it and say, instead of putting dot product there, you might see scalar product. Just know that they can be used interchangeably, either dot product or scalar product. The final question for today says, if two vectors have magnitudes of 3 units and 4 units, what is the maximum possible resultant vector? If two vectors have magnitudes of 3 units and 4 units, what is the maximum possible resultant magnitude? Option A says 1 unit. Option B, 5 units. Option C, 7 units. And option D, 12 units. Now, remember or recall that at maximum, please note that the maximum resultant occurs when the vectors are in the same direction. The angle at which the vector hits, or the position of the angle, has 3 special cases. The first case, when you're asked to find the resultant, the maximum resultant vector, meaning the angle is equal to 0. The maximum resultant is equal to A plus B. The second case occurs when the angle is equal to 90 degrees. When they say the vectors are at angle 90 degrees, or they are at right angle, you have it to be this way. This becomes the resultant. R is equal to root A plus B. Now, the third case, when the angle is equal to 180 degrees, that is, in that question, they put it this way. They say when the direction of the vectors are opposite. When they are opposite, it is assumed that the angle is at 180 degrees. And when this happens, arrow now, which is the resultant vector, is equal to A minus B. Now for the question, they said, what is the maximum resultant vector? It means at maximum resultant vector, the both of them are in the same direction. And when the both of them are in the same direction, the angle is equal to 0. Now the formula we need to use is R is equal to A plus B, which is Aru is equal to A plus B. From the question, they gave us the first to be what? A to be 3, and they gave us B to be 4. When you add the both of them together, you have 7. Therefore, the maximum resultant is 7 units. It's 7 units. That is our final answer. So thank you guys for watching. We are done with today's video. Please don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to this channel, and drop in the comment section the next topic you would like us to treat. Till then, see you in our next video.